Columbus is an amazing city with amazing healthcare, a thriving job market, and a location that I just see everyone constantly moving to. And honestly, for years, it's been the location that families, young professionals, and retirees alike make that migration to. Here's the thing, after helping so many families make the move here, we realized one thing. There's topics that no one ever tells you about. Stick to the end of this video because I'm going to share with you some secrets that could number one, save you thousands of dollars, and number two, months of frustration. So let's talk about the 14 things that you absolutely need to before moving to Columbus. What's up guys, it's Gagan here, your favorite realtor, and I'll be honest with you. Columbus looks like it's small on paper, but it's actually one of the most geographically spaced out locations in the entire USA. We're talking about 220 square miles of city limits, which means that your quick trip across town can become a 45-minute odyssey. See, I have clients of mine that moved here from Portland. They couldn't decide between Westerville and German Village. They ultimately chose Westerville, saying that, you know what, I can just constantly drive there whenever I need to. The reality was it takes 30 minutes to get there and 30 minutes to come back. The biggest reality check is the suburbs aren't just outside of the city, they are the city. You gotta pick your home base very carefully because albeit on Google Maps, they look very compact and close by. Realities, they're not. For the most part, a lot of our clients are buying houses in either Dublin, maybe New Albany, places like Powell as well. And my family were in Reynoldsburg. To get to Dublin, it can take anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes on a bad day. Factor in all these things, especially depending on where specifically you're working, whether you're working downtown Columbus, maybe downtown Dublin. Take into effect how long the transit will take as a whole. And you know, talking about the housing opportunities of it, one thing that really just flabbergasted everyone is the fact that Columbus's property taxes are actually lower and cheaper than the other suburban areas. Everyone assumes that the city of Columbus will cost more in property taxes, but I had a client of mine actually find something very similar in both the city and Dublin. In Dublin, they're paying around $800 more just for property tax. When we discussed all the real estate aspect of it, one big thing that we took into consideration was appreciation as well. It's not just about monthly payments, it's also about long-term appreciation and long-term wealth building with the property asset that we have. Right, strategic living is really, really important. Combining with this, when you're thinking about making that move here, I know one big thing. You probably already have a job, right? You probably have a safe career field that you know that you're going into, or some kind of opportunity already existent. You might think that Columbus is a liberal party college town, and to some degree it is, but the other catch is this. We are also very relationship-based, especially in our networks and our career fields. We're very conservative in that factor, and I can speak firsthand to this. My job is very simple, to find the property that you want, at the terms that you want, at the price that you want. Now, we have to collaborate with other agents that are in the market as well. And honestly, one of the big things that a lot of number one entrepreneurs and just people that are working corporate realize is Columbus, it's not as liberal as you might think. I'll put it like this, Columbus operates on golf course handshakes and country club memberships. Major employers here, the Nationwide, Chase, Cardinal Health, yeah, they really pride themselves on their ability to communicate with other people and have long-term, strong strategic relationships. If you're thinking about climbing the corporate ladder or just starting your own business, one big key component that you have to realize is Columbus is very much a who you know market, not just a what you know area. You might be similar to the other clients that we have that have already made the move here, maybe working a corporate job, or you just got a job opportunity as well. If you're thinking about, hey, how can I maximize the most amount of money that I make? What do I need to think about when I'm coming to Columbus? These things are vital because it's not just you that we're thinking about, it's also your family and also the people that have came here before you, your predecessors. I'm gonna talk to you about something that I don't think anyone has ever talked about, and it's this. Our water quality is vastly different than the entire countries. I said it, and here's why. Columbus has some of the best tap water in the entire country, and this is saving residents over thousands of dollars. Water comes from underground aquifers, not surface waters like most cities, which means it's naturally filtered and tastes amazing. You see, I had clients of mine make that move here from Los Angeles, right? And they said one thing, okay, cool, how much do we have to pay for water? I still have friends of mine that live in LA, and they're always buying massive bags, especially from Costco and their other shops. Here, They actually canceled their water membership. They're saving $200, $300 a month now. Water quality shows that we're constantly beating other areas by a pretty large margin. Now, I know this might seem minor, but when you're taking all these factors into consideration, especially for the cost of living aspect of it, just realize that there's really no water cost that you have to take into account. And if you think this is an interesting fact, wait till number 11, because I've seen all the YouTube videos. Not a single one of them discusses this one thing. I promise you, I've never seen this being discussed in any real estate YouTube video. Wait till number 11. Finding with this, there's also a Columbus paradox that we have to speak about. Columbus is massively diverse. You have the largest Somalian population outside of Somalia. You also have a massive Latin population here and a huge Asian population as well. Here's the weird part. It can feel incredibly homogeneous depending on where specifically you spend most of your time. I had a client of mine actually move here from Brickell Bay, which is in Miami, and they were incredibly shocked at how segregated and separated all these locations are. Now, I'm not saying there's anything great about living here. I'm not saying there's anything negative about living there. What I am saying is, depending on what specifically you want and what kind of community specifically you are looking for, there's going to be different subsets of markets that have different things and different utilizations as a whole. The key is to be intentional about where you're living and who specifically you're looking to socialize with. The most incredible things about Columbus that I absolutely love is the fact that we still have the Midwestern charm. Now, albeit we have some of the rigidness of the East Coast as well, I don't think people here are as mean as other people might like to proclaim them to be. We're actually very kind to each other, and especially if you move outside of just the city of Columbus, I think the suburbs are very tranquil and quiet. You know, obviously we have this paradox to take into account, but this other thing, I feel like it has to be discussed even more, and that's insurance rates. Before we get to that, listen, I know we're talking about the most interesting things about Columbus, and we really did spend a lot of time to figure out what specifically are things that we haven't heard before from topic to topic. If you find these videos interesting or are thinking about making a move to Columbus, Ohio, whether it be now, 9 days, 90 days, even a year from now, give us a call, shoot us a text. All of our information is going to be in the description below. We love making these pieces of videos. We'd also love the opportunity to help you on your buying journey as well. Again, all the information is down below. It's not a bother whatsoever. Let's chat about making Columbus home. Here's the one thing that people don't talk about, and it's the fact that we are very close to Tornado Alley. We're Tornado Alley adjacent, which means we're close, but we're not gonna have the craziness that other locations will. It's several thunderstorms with decent sized hails and some ice storms as well that may affect the power lines over here and there. Take into account two things will probably go up depending on where specifically you're from. If you're from Arizona, understand that home insurance costs and your car insurance costs will go up as well. Factor in the fact that most people will need a whole house generator, especially if the power goes out. You're looking at over $5,000 to $8,000 from weather-related expenses that no one talks about. Let's say the weather is nice and you want to go outside and there's things to do. There's also another trap that I don't think a lot of people realize, and it's the fact that most people already have their social groups. You see, we're also a college town, which means a lot of people are just passing through. One of the big realizations that a lot of our clients are having is it's difficult to find a social circle here. Columbus's social circles are incredibly tight-knit, and it's very difficult to break into them, especially as an adult. You know, I had a client of mine move here from Denver, right? And they thought it was going to be like Denver. Denver's very outgoing, they're very social. But now, 2 years in, and they're still feeling like they're outside looking in. The solution that I give to all of our clients is this: join a specific niche-based activity. CrossFit, going to the gym, finding a nonprofit, let's say whatever you enjoy. Surface level networking doesn't fly by here. Again, we are a relationship-based market. Find things that you enjoy doing with other people that you can do constantly and never be bored of. But one big thing that especially has to be talked about when you're going outside, let's say you're finding friends, you're eating, you're working, whatever downtown, it's this: parking. Parking is expensive here. We're talking $150 to $200 a month just for parking, and street parking is absolutely atrocious. Whenever I'm parking outside, I make sure to set my timer on my phone 15 to 20 minutes before it's going to end. The law enforcement here, they do not play when it comes to their parking and the tickets that they're giving out. And honestly, the rules are constantly changing on a daily, weekly, monthly basis that it's really hard to keep up with for this location and that location. I had a client of mine move here a little while back, and they were moving here from a very small suburban area. Listen, they're paying almost $2 grand a year to park their car. That's incredible. The irony of this is our public transportation is really bad. They don't go into the suburbs as well, so if you're living in suburb, you most definitely will need a car when you're thinking about working downtown. What's interesting is a lot of people actually take jobs in suburban areas that are, a little bit less paying just because they don't have to go downtown and work there. Combining with this, let's say you have a job, let's say you've got parking taken into account. What do you wear? And I know this might sound silly, but one of the big things that you have to realize when you're thinking about moving to Columbus or living in Columbus is this. Albeit we don't have a spoken dress code, it's an unspoken one for sure, and people will judge you depending on what specifically you wear. If you're working in sectors like finance or healthcare, you have to dress up a little bit more to the T. Women need business casual here for most professional settings, and men wearing golf attire is practically business formal here. Professional clothing is a really, really important thing. Now, if you're working remote from home, you can wear whatever you want in the top half and the bottom half. You don't need to talk about that, okay? You do you. But if you are going to an office, which a lot of jobs and a lot of companies are kind of requiring people to go back to the office, these things are things that you absolutely have to take into account. One of the main reasons that we're making these videos is because a lot of our clients are coming here. I know you have a job. I know you're thinking about making a move here and you just want to know all the nuances of Columbus. A lot of the videos have already talked about the big high-level things. Here is the specific details, and I want to be detail-oriented and talk about the specific things about the city that I love because it's vital and imperative that we give you all the correct information. And combining with this, one big realization that a lot of people have is, especially during the winter time, yeah, the weather will affect you mentally. We're talking about 60 days of sunshine from December to March. Gray skies will mess with your mental health and psychology in ways that you just never expected. And I used to be one of those guys that thought that this really wasn't a big deal, right? Oh, it's whatever, people are just saying this, blah, 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 whatever. Until I realized that there's days where I genuinely feel more sad, or days that I just don't want to work, or days that I don't want to get out of bed. And I'm realizing that SAD, or seasonal affective disorder, is really a genuine thing. The biggest separating factor for me has been taking vitamin D pills and also just finding indoor activities to enjoy. Again, I talked about how much I love bodybuilding, but I've just recently started playing basketball as well. I'm meeting a lot of really cool people there that I can hang out with and chat with. And combining with that, it gives me an hour and a half, 2 hours of just things to do that I'm not thinking about the fact that, well, the sky kind of sucks. I told you to stick around until number 11 because this one is good. And restaurant scene and the restaurant timing scene, these are things that are imperative for your move. So if you're from a big city, most restaurants, they stop serving food around 9 or 10 p.m. Even our friends from the West, I think this is West, Chicago, well, the people that are coming here from Chicago, they think there's late night options. And there's a few, you got some pizzerias, but most restaurants, they're closing up shop by 9:30, 10, maybe 11 if you're lucky. Our scene closes around 1 a.m. and if you are a nighttime owl, then these are things that you absolutely will have to adjust yourself to. Combining with what you eat, you also have to think about healthcare as well. And this one is imperative, because this could either save you or cost you thousands of dollars. For our clients, that's exactly the case. You have to understand the politics of healthcare that happens in Columbus, Ohio. Wexner Medical Center, Ohio Health, and Mount Carmel, they all have their specialized doctors and locations. And switching between them can be extremely complicated. A client of mine that was working with Ohio State, and they needed a specialty in Ohio Health. The process can take over months, and if there's something that's life-threatening or things that you absolutely have to take care of because they're imperative for your health, yeah, that's going to be troublesome. Research what networks your employer's insurance works best with. Make sure you find the specialists and specialties that specifically suit your needs. Quality is excellent, the bureaucracy is frustrating. Combining with this, one of the biggest things that I don't think people realize is the sprawl effect. Here's what I mean. Because Columbus is so spread out, your friends might be within a 30-mile radius, and spontaneous social activities will be nearly impossible. You're gonna have to plan this out at least maybe a week or a few days in advance, because let's say you are trying to find something to do with all of your buddies and your friends, it's gonna be a little bit more difficult than you think. Your social life will revolve around planned activities and not just spontaneous trips. All right, let's talk about the Holy Grail, because this is something that not a single person has ever discussed and things that you absolutely need to know. Real estate appreciation, especially in Columbus, is tied to two major things: the budgeting cycle of the location and teachers' contracts. Places like Dublin, New Albany, and Bexley, their property value will fluctuate dependent on how well that school performs and their ranking. We had clients of ours buy properties in Hilliard right before the budget cut. The appreciation was almost stagnated for the last 3 years. The smart money watches school board meetings and financial reports, not just specific markets in Columbus. If you're buying for investments, you gotta understand, school of district politics will also play a massive role in how much that property actually appreciates. I'm not trying to scare you away from Columbus. I just want to be honest with you because I want to save your time and my time. If you still love Columbus and want to make it home, all of our information is down below. Give us a call or shoot us a text. By the way, if you're confident in making Columbus home, I actually did an entire A to Z guide about what making that move to Columbus would look like, all the neighborhoods, all the suburbs. I'm going to put that video right here. Watch it, and I'll see you soon. Peace.